that I took the mark of the beast, and I'll tell you what it was like. But before I tell you that, I woke up this morning with Father God, so I knew that I didn't really take it, and we know what it is. It's RFID chip. Still waking up. But when I took the chip, right, everything left me. Like the Holy Spirit left me, and I heard a loud no, and then I heard this noise, and then everything left, and then I woke up and I couldn't move my body for 10 seconds. It was, and then I realized, I was like, what have I done? Like, I think the scariest part was the fact that I knew that I couldn't go back and that I would never see God again. That was the scariest part, and it literally terrified me, guys. It terrified me because I knew I was damned. It was like God was trying to.
Yep. And that's how majority of the people are going to feel. Okay, they're going to know it in their spirit that you're damned or condemned. Okay, all right, which the scriptures speak about that. All right, in the book of Revelation chapter 14. All right, we're gonna grab that. Let's grab that real fast. Okay. And just thinking back to 2020, which was a prelude to the actual mark. All right, when Esau was pushing the Tampico juice, the jump shot, okay, that snake venom, right? You had members from the IUIC that actually went and got it, okay, and the reports came back that they feel like they lost the spirit, and that wasn't even the mark. That wasn't even the RFID chip that they took, okay. That was Esau's potion, okay. But like this man was saying in his dream, he took the mark, and then as soon as he took it, he felt like he was condemned, So that links up with the scriptures. Revelation chapter 14 verse 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with the loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, right? Which, let's look up this word receive, because the Greek word, when you look it up, goes into the word labanos, all right, receive, which means to take. Matter of fact, let me jump down to the letter D in this definition. It says to admit, receive, to receive what is offered, not to refuse or reject. To receive a person, give him access to oneself, okay? So they're getting ready to, people are getting ready to give Esau access to their body by taking that implantable device upon themselves, okay? Which is going to ultimately bring destruction upon them, all right? And we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. And through the spirit, Yahweh Bashim Abishai is having many, many more people that he's pouring the spirit upon to bring out these prophetic dreams, okay? All right, and we know that through the spirit that majority of the people, especially our people, all right, they're going to be in the spirit of the Exodus. Let me get it real fast. Hold on. Let me get it real fast. Exodus chapter 21. All right. The slave and master relationship, okay, right? They're gonna take the digital all upon themselves, because they ultimately they love their master. Is it 21? Let me see. That's not it. Okay, it is Exodus 21. All right, Exodus chapter 21 and verse 3, it said, let's start at verse 1. It says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve thee, and the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall bear her master, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Okay. And this is how majority of people are going to feel towards, the beast system, Esau, which, they're going to be like, well, I got to feed my children. All right. Which I believe that the elder brother from New York, he did a video on a woman having a dream where her husband went to go take the chip. He pretty much sacrificed himself so that way his family could eat, because without the chip, they wouldn't have access to buying and selling, okay, right? Getting goods or services and things of that nature. But then his wife ended up taking the chip. And then she also felt the spirit was taken from her, and she was getting ready to go to so-called hell, which hell doesn't really exist. All right. But she was getting ready to give her son the chip. Okay. So you're gonna have many Jakes that are gonna compromise themselves to live. All right. And that's why it tells you in Isaiah the 30th chapter, woe unto you that trust into Egypt, and you have not leaned unto the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, you haven't really got yourself built up. Okay. But that's how people are going to try to save themselves, all right, which, it's prophecy, all right, because that's they're the undesirables of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, okay, all right, but it says, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, he shall also bring him to the door and unto the doorpost, yeah, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Okay. All right. And that's why that chip is going to be ultimately a digital awl, which signifies who you're going to give your allegiance to, Esau. All right. Or you're going to deny it and give your allegiance to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay. So you had this man that had that he took the mark. Okay. And he felt like he lost the spirit. All right. And he was condemned. Let's read back on that. Revelations 14 and 10. It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name. All right. And this is the second death. Okay. The ICBMs, the nuclear missiles. All right. Which that's really the hell that you're going to feel. All right. Which is that judgment, that fire. Okay. For those that take the mark. All right. Which, let's watch some more of the video, okay? See what else he got to say.
Show me what it would feel like, what it would be like, and what you experience if you take the mark. I am telling you this as a warning. I am telling you this because I love each and every human being on this planet. Do not take the RFID chip. It is the mark of the beast. What happened in the dream was the needle, right, was in my hand. Like, so this is like the needle, and like my palm is like over here. So like the needle was like in my hand, and I allowed it to go in me. I allowed it to. So it was my fault. It was my fault. And I couldn't even talk to God because it was just like, if you take the chip, you can't speak to God anymore. It's over. That quick. It is that quick and painless of taking the chip. But
if you take the chip, it's over. All right, it's over. Okay, just like he felt in his dream, it was over. All right, and I read it to you, Revelation the 14th chapter. Right now, let's watch this other video as well.
All right, guys, I just had another dream. I don't know why God is giving me these dreams lately, but it shook me to the core. And it's 2 a.m. right now. Not a good time to post on TikTok if you want views, but it's the same exact thing that happened to me a few days back with that first dream that I had. But I tried to go back to sleep, and God told me, go put this out. So here I am. I'm just going to talk and tell you what I experienced this time. It was probably one of the most real dreams that I've ever experienced. And I was laying down and I just went into like this deep sleep. And I do a business on the side with some great people all throughout the world. And it's with social media and all this other stuff. And I was working with someone who is overseas, and they said, "Hey, you gotta see this. It's this new technology that is going to make our business so much easier and flow so much better, and it's going to be a lot less personal effort for you, because throughout the day, right now, you spend 10 hours doing what you do. This is going to eliminate it and be simultaneous, and you're almost not going to have to do any work." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, this sounds great. Yeah, let me hear about it." So I'm in my dream.
Yep, what you gotta expect Esau to entice you into taking it. You know, they're gonna use celebrities. You had Kim Kardashian with a so-called brain problem. She's linking up with Elon Musk to so-called be quote unquote smarter. Okay. You know, and you're going to have other celebrities that are going to push this thing. All right. They're going to offer incentives. Okay. And you're going to have people that are going to get convinced that this is the new wave, or this is what's going to help them out in life. Okay. Which is all part of Esau's deception. Okay. The scriptures say that we're supposed to rely on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for everything. Okay. You know, and we're supposed to put our trust in the Lord, you know, but you're going to have many people out here that are going to lose patience, okay, when hardships come, all right, and, you know, the scriptures say, woe unto you who have lost patience, okay? Let's get this real fast in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 14. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you, okay? They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. Okay. All right. And it's a direct violation to take Esau's mark, you know, no matter what he offers you. Okay. It says, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. All right. In the law, right, it goes into, let me see, what is it? It says, thou shalt not put a cut in the flesh. Let me see. It's in the Old Testament, right? Is it Leviticus 18? Okay, 19. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the blue letter. Leviticus 19, right? Because you got to also remember this law as well. Okay. Bear with me. Leviticus 19. Here it is right here. It said, no, that's not it. Let me see, Salaki, hold on, what happened? Okay, 19 and 28, that's what I'm looking for. Leviticus 19 and 28, it says, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Okay, all right. And when you look up the word mark, right, it goes into kwai, which means incision, imprintment, tattoos, a mark. Okay, so the needle is the incision part, you know, or the brain implant is the incision part, dealing with, you know, your mind. Okay, they're gonna have to cut into you and put that chip inside you. And this man had a dream about his whole body getting taken over.
I want to introduce you to someone. And I'm like, okay. So he put together a group chat for us. and I'm going back and forth, and I can't figure out who I'm talking to. It's like the person is brilliant. They're saying all of these things, and they said, in order for me to make your life so much easier and make all of this money, the money's gonna be like tenfold. I'm gonna need access to your personal system. I don't know what that meant. That's what I heard in my head. And I'm like, what do you mean personal system? He said, let's try a few things out and you'll get what I'm saying. And I said, all right, I'm gonna go with caution, but show me what you need me to do. And they said, all I need you to do is download this database. So he sent me this link, and I clicked on the link and I hit approve, and it shot through all of, I can't even explain it, but it.
Yep, and that's when he sealed his fate right there. As soon as he hit approve, that was that Greek word that we read in Revelation 14 chapter, Labanos. He received the mark right then and there, and there was no taking it back.
It shot through. When I clicked that link, I started seeing everything get downloaded, almost to like this cloud base of my memory, my business. All of these numbers were popping up. The things that I do on the side for my side business, it was all being basically put on this cloud-based software. And it was being downloaded, and almost like my brain was being downloaded in the air. And he goes, all right, let's try it out. So I hit approve, and I said, are there gonna be any like long-term effects? I don't know if I want my information out there like that. And he says, it's already too late. You might as well give it a go now. And I said, oh, okay. Like, I was very hesitant, but I was like, all right, we'll try this out because I trust my friend. I trust this guy who introduced me to this person that I had not seen. So we do a couple of these things for my business, and it goes so well. Everything was done in a matter of minutes, and the money that I was making was so much money from doing this thing that I was like, oh man, this is pretty amazing. And he goes, well, I'm gonna take it a next step. I'm gonna take it a step further. Instead of you actually having to do the couple clicks, the things that you need to do, I'm going to control it for you. I said, what do you mean you're gonna control it for me? He said, I'm stronger now because I have access to everything about you. And you will see, don't worry, you will see there are benefits from this. It's gonna be great. And in my dream, I'm like, all right, weird, but okay, yeah, let's go for it. So all of a sudden, all of these things started happening that I was doing that I could not control. And I had this vision of someone controlling me, almost like a video game. But it wasn't physically doing this stuff. It was all done through my mind. And it was...
Yep, you had that tiny top Noah Yuval Harari, who said that you will become biohackable animals, okay? And this is what they want. Total control over your mind, your body, and you will not be yourself once you take that mark, okay? They want to hijack the Most High's creation, which is us, really the Israelites, okay? And they want to rule over us forever. As the scriptures say, the inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever throughout all the generations. And this is how they want to rule over the world, all right, by chipping everybody up, okay? So what he's explaining is spot on.
Connecting all the pieces together, everything that I do every single day for work, he was doing it, and it was a guy. He was doing it for me, and I was like, "This is incredible!" Like I feel like he took over my mind. And he's like, "I have taken over your mind. You've given me access to your mind." When you opened up the link, you gave me access to your mind. And now I have full access to your body. But don't worry, I'm going to make you richer than you've ever been before. So,
yep, all left hand miracles. Okay. All right. And this is how Esau's gonna get people. You know, they just gonna openly give up access to themselves. Okay. Let's get this real fast. We always bring it out. First Thessalonians. No, that's not it. I'm tripping. Slakia. Yep, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's get straight to the point. In verse 9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, the adversary, right? With all powers and signs and lying wonders, right? These miracles, okay? And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved, okay? You know, because the warning is going forth from the prophets, telling you that this is the mark of the beast, telling you that you should not take it. And many people are going to disregard the message of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai because they believe in a strong delusion, okay? That these Edomites are going to wave their wand over you, and you're going to be persuaded into bowing down, into taking this chip, all right, which justifies Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and melting you here, okay? Verse 11, it says, and for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasures in unrighteousness. So that man was, what he was feeling was like, man, I'm making all this money. This is great, you know, but at the cost of him being controlled and taken over. It kind of reminds you of that movie, Upgrade. You know, at the end, he went to a blissful estate, so to speak. But the chip just took over his whole body, his whole system, you know, hijacked him.
again, he kept promising this, and I reached out to my friend. I was like, I need to talk to this guy because he's starting to freak me out. And the guy jumped. He as soon as I said outreach to my partner, it's like it got blocked. And I was only dealing with this guy that took over my body and took over my mind. And he said, no, you only work with me for now. And it freaked me out. And he said, just trust me. And I was like, I'm trying to trust you, but you have full control over me. Like, can I ever get full control of myself again? And he said, no, you're never going to get full control of yourself because you are now mine.
Woo, man, that's heavy. That's heavy right there, you know? All right, which we all have to, you know, have trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, we got to pray for more endurance. We got to keep that confidence in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, all right? Because, you know, this thing is getting ready to be rolled out, all right? That's why they're getting ready to crash the dollar. This orchestrated crash is happening fast, okay? And we don't have that much longer here, you know? So I'm going to just end it right there, but I'm going to read this last couple precepts from the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 35. It says, cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which have great recompense of reward. For you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, you might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. And that's all we have, truth be told, is the faith that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has given us, okay? All right, and we got to endure. We got to deal with the suffering, you know? But Yahushai is definitely going to come. Okay, he's going to come and deliver us and get us out of here. It says, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. So you know, the elect is not going to draw back into the world. All right, get chipped up and dipped up in that fire. No, the elect is going to persevere unto the end. He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, so Lord's willing, this was edifying. Just wanted to bring this out. This is the last part of the last video I was going into. All right, so I'm going to get out of here by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. On to the next. Shalom.